everybody out there. Just gonna make another little video there today. What day is today, Bob? Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. It's cold here in PTI. What's the wind chill? Minus 26? Minus 21, 22? It's too cold to be outside. I got my little helper here at Willard. He make good coyote bait, I think. What do you say, Bob?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're just we're down here in the shop. We spend a lot of time down here in the winter time. Good spot. It's warm. The shop's the basement of the house, so we only heat one spot, so that saves. Anyway, I'm going to show you kind of what we're up to, what we're doing here in the winter. And I've been doing lobster rope. I fish lobsters here in PTI, fish May and June in the spring season. So I got to do the lobster rope, go through that, tie the buoy lines on, fix anywhere where it was caught or whatnot, get it all ready. I usually build traps in the winter time. Last year we built 120, I guess, somewhere around there, Bob, eh? 120, 118. The last few years we built 100, you know, each year, so pretty good for the traps for a few years. I might build some next year just to keep a few built ahead, but I didn't want to build any this winter. A bunch of other stuff I wanted to get done. So yeah, so I've been working on the rope here the last few days, getting that ready. Like I said, tying buoy lines on. Got to tie buoy lines on because we're out in the month of May. We're usually out in deep water, 100 feet, what we call deep here, PTI anyway, 100 feet, 80 feet. I've gone out to 128, 129, 130 feet. There's been lobsters out there. Anywhere further than that, the bottom gets shitty, so you need buoy lines tied on. And then month of June we get in fishing on the shoreline. And we take the buoy lines off so there's no rope floating, and fishing pretty close, usually 20, 30 feet, 40 feet, but I've hit lobster gear in 6, 8 feet of water lots of times too. The last few weeks of the season we get some pretty big markets crawling around in there, so anyway, I'm working on that, and Bob over here, he's working on oyster collectors. Once lobsters is over, I fish oysters in the summer and the fall. I fish eel nets in the fall, but I farm oysters too, and so we put out these here we call collectors. I'll just explain them here a little bit. What they are is these are a proper collector, but they're usually a drain tile. That's 6 or 8 inch weeping tile or drain tile they call it. Some people cut it in half, some people leave it around. But what we do is usually around the 15th to 20th of July, oyster spat, we call it oyster spat, oyster larvae. It runs in the water, oysters spawn off, so it floats to the top of the surface in the water column. And around that time, there's scientists, and they do samples every day, and they look it up on a microscope, and they can tell how thick the larvae is in the water. So there's a 1-800 number you can phone, and you can get an idea of how, you know, what day maybe you only have a week or two time frame to get your collectors in, so you got to be ready. So after lobsters, the first week of July, we'll take these like this here, and we'll mix up cement, porcelain cement, masonry cement, and we'll take hydrated lime and sand, and we mix that up in a tank. Now, the cement mixer would be easier, but we got to do it the hard way usually. So we mix that up in a tank and get it thick, and we dip this whole collector in the cement and take it out. Just give it a quick dip to make sure it's covered, and you don't want it runny, you want it thick. So you let it dry for a few days, and you do this a week or two before the spat's running. Get the collectors all ready. I usually put out about 400 collectors, but this year I'm going to try to put out 800 to 900. I didn't have a big catch of seed last year, so I'll have to buy some. So we'll dip this in cement, and then we go into a river at the western end of PEI, Biddeford River it's called, and it's one of the best rivers on the island for spat collection. So what happens is the cement on this collector is a rough surface, and that larvae, oyster spat in the water, which you can't see, it wants to bond, it wants to stick to the collector for whatever reason, but it does. So you hang your collectors out on your line and cross your fingers, and you go back to about a month's time, and you might see it with your eye then. You'll see the little brown specks on the cement, and that's a good sign, because the brown specks are oysters, baby oysters. So when you're farming oysters, you got to get your seed somewhere, right? So that's where you get your seed from. You don't go to Walmart and buy it, because they don't make it. So anyway, so you go back in a month's time and take a look at them, but you usually have to dip them in hydrated lime. Unhook the collector off the line. It's on a snap. So you do each collector, you dip it in lime for 30 to 40 seconds, and that kills off any tunicates or sea squirts or anything that's building up on your collectors. And it seems to help make the oysters want to grow quicker too. So they grow quick. Usually after your first month's gone by and you dip them and you don't go back for another month, they grow really quick. I've seen oysters grow double their size in a week. They'll go from just something that you can barely see to the size of your thumbnail. Well, that's usually like they grow. And so you put them in around the 15th, 20th of July, and you line them a couple times through the summer. And around the 15th to the 30th of October, usually by Halloween, you take these in, because what'll happen is they'll get big and they'll start falling off the collector. So you take your collectors all in, and you take them home, and you strip them. And we just have a couple of metal pipes, and we bang the collector, and it'll shatter the cement. The cement shatters off the collector and onto the floor or the tarp, whatever you do. Some people have strippers to do it with a machine that you just run it through, but we do it by hand. So that's how we catch our seed, and then we just bag it up in a. I'll grab a bag here right quick. It's not finished, but. Yeah, so here's a bag. It's a new bag, we gotta build it. But that's what we put when we strip our seed, we put 3 or 4 feed scoops in one of these bags. It'll be all hog ringed, it'll have a door up here and stuff like that. But it's small screen, so the seed's big, so it won't fall through. So we just bag it up, and then we sink these bags under the ice here for the winter, and then come April, the end of April or whatever, and we get back out, we raise the bags to the surface. I just have a line, and I have plastic floats that go on these bags, so the bag is floating on individual bags, or I think I have about 80 bags to a line, a 300-foot line. So the bags float. And this is in the water, 6-8 inches. So the oysters really want to grow quick on top of on the surface of the water. And they last spring I put two feed scoops in one of these bags, and it don't look like much, but around the end of July I took the bags in to do maintenance. You gotta look after them, and I took the bags in and I measured a few bags out. 2 scoops, 2 feed scoops, they're like a 4-liter feed scoop, so it'd be 8 liters. So I put 2 scoops in and I took 15 to 16 scoops out of the bag. That's how much they grew. May, June, and July, 3 months. They grow quick when they're, when they're grown. So you just take them in and you got to thin them out. So you got 300 bags. You got a big catch like that, and they're growing. You take 300 bags in the end of July. You put 1,000 back out when you thin them out. Everything triples and quadruples and everything else. So that's just a little rundown on the oyster farming. And it takes 4 years to get an oyster to 3 inches. That's the legal size they have to be in order to sell them. I only grow my oysters for a year in a bag like this, and then come that fall, I take my bags home and I dump everything into fish tubs, and then I go and spread them loose on the bottom of my oyster lease, and I let the Mother Nature look after them. I just want to get them growing and get them there. They will grow quicker. Some people are growing their oyster from start to finish in a bag, but I think it's too much labor, too much equipment. So I just do it for a year. And last year, like I said, I grew 100. I spread 100 fish tubs, and we counted a fish tub one evening, and there was about 5,000 little oysters. Something the size of a toonie or whatever. There's 5,000 oysters in a fish tub. So when they're all 3 inches, that's a lot of oysters. So that's what I do after lobster fishing, or during lobster fishing too. But it is a lot of work. But if it's like planting it's like a garden. If you don't plant it, you're not going to have vegetables, or potatoes or whatever. So their oysters catch naturally too, right? There is a big public fishery here, but there is a lot of guys here on PEI that are farming oysters now too. So here's Bob's over there. He's redoing these collectors. I bought these collectors off a guy in New Brunswick a couple years ago, and I'll just grab one here. This is what they are right here. So we're redoing them. As you can see, the closeness of the pipe. Well, we're putting bigger spacers in between the pipe, because it seems like the collectors that had more space between them, and lots of people find the same thing, that you get more oysters underneath the pipe. So we had the pipe, and we've got some rope. So so it's quite a difference between that one. There's the new one, and there's the old one. So there is quite a bit more space in between them, and it should be a lot easier to strip them too. So anyway, that's what Bob's doing over there. We have 300 of these to redo, and then we're going to make 300 or 400 more new ones. So lots of work. That's why I'm not building no lobster traps this winter. I got to build 500 or 600 new bags and do them collectors and stuff like that. So it's a good winter project to do, get it done with, and then you're ready. Cause I'll need the bags come the end of May or come the end of April. I'm actually looking to buy some seed. Last year we only had 12 or 14 tubs of good seed off the collectors. It was a poor catch, and it was small. So I'm going to try to buy 15 or 20 tubs off somebody that has some for sale in the spring. Hopefully, even 10 tubs would be nice with what I got. Some people had a good catch in certain areas. It was a weird year. I guess the day that we put these collectors out last July, what had happened, I think, is we put them out, and then the next 2 days after we put them out that night, we had about 60 or 70 millimeters of rain. And what happens, and I've heard this from the researchers that do the spat collection, when you have a big heavy rain, the fresh water, the runoff and everything from the land and the silt, the spat floats to the top of the water, and with all that fresh water and rain, it sinks it, pushes it down. So that's what they think that probably happened this year, was the spat, the rain. You know, we had a lot of rain there in that week or two that people were putting their collectors out. So anyway, like I said, it's just luck of the draw, right? You know? So some years you done good and some years you don't. A couple years ago I only had 100 collectors out, and I think I had about 30 fish pans of seed out of it. So you know, that was a lot of seed. So anyway, hopefully this year now we can get a little more seed and we'll have lots. So I'm just gonna show you a few things of what we're doing here at the shop. Willard, he's a pretty good little buddy here. He eats a lot, farts a lot, he snorts, makes a lot of noise. You eating your shit, don't you, buddy? Anyways, but pretty good little mascot to have around. Gets in lots of trouble down here. He's always lugging something away. Every time I look for something, he's got it over there, or he's stuck in the net, or he's always in a bad. Willard's always in a bad situation sometimes. So, good little buddy. So I'll take you a walk around, and like I said, yeah. So I do the oysters in the summer, and I fish them and I grow them, and then in August the 20th, eel. Around the 20th of August, we have a 2-month eel net season, and I fish 35 eel nets. That's the most you're allowed to fish. Some people have a license for 20 or 25. Mine's a 35 net license, and that's a lot of work doing the 35 nets and keeping them clean, because they get dirty quick, the nets. When they get dirty, they won't fish all that well. So if you can see, I got a big pile of nets over here. Most of them are fairly new. Last year there's probably 20 or 25 in that pile. There's some in the burner. I got my lobster rope there that I'm going over. That stuff's got to get done. So I got to go over that. But yeah, so we fish eels, and it works out pretty good. That it's a little bit of money coming in. August, you know, September, October type of thing, and then eels end around the 20th of October. So I just get my nets in that day, and then I go take my oyster collectors in and get them stripped. And you got to pressure wash your eel nets too, right? Get them put away. But I'm not too worried about doing that. Right? You know, I get them in, and you know, worry about them. Yeah, worry about them next week or something, you know what I mean? Just get them in and get them out of the water, and go get the oyster collectors out and get them stripped, and strip them, bag them up, and get them back out. So yeah, so I'll show you my eel net here, what Bob's into over there. We're just kind of waiting for the weather to warm up here a little bit. It's supposed to be cold here the next week, but we got to get in the woods and get some firewood cut, eh, Bob? I burned a lot of wood this winter. I've gone through 8 cord of wood so far. That's all I had for the winter was 8 cord. And, well, I only got enough wood for maybe 2-3 weeks at the most. So we got to get in the woods and the snowmobile and the bobsleighs. I'll make a video of that when we go do that. But we got to get in the woods and get some firewood cut, and enough to get through this year, and might as well cut next year too, and make sure that I got more than 8 cord. So I had to buy my wood this year, because I was building traps all last winter, so didn't have much time to get into the woods. It seemed like we were building traps every day, right to lobster fishing. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that I get next year's firewood cut and hauled out and dried. It's crazy. burning too much wood. So anyway, I'll just show you around the basement here what we're doing. Willard, you can take my spot, honey. You can stay right there. I'll be right back. Yeah, so Bob's over there. He's hard at redoing the collectors. Bob, can I get you to hold the back end of this net here so I can show the viewers here or not? So this is our eel net. This is what it looks like right here. Standing back a little bit to get the part that Bob's holding on there. That's the spiller part of the net. That's where you, when you come to fish the net, you just like that, open the bag, the end of the net up, and you dump all your eels. There's usually, you know, 2 or 3 eels hopefully, or sometimes there's more. And there's flatfish, and there's tommy cods, lobsters. We get quite a few little lobsters, and crabs, lots of crabs. Crabs like going in the net because there's always a dead fish or something in there for them to eat. They want to go in. So yeah, so the eels come in the front part of the net here, and you probably can't see it, I don't know, but there's a funnel, a bigger funnel. So they come in there and they'll swim around, and then they come through this funnel here. And once they get through that funnel, they can't get back out because that's just a small little tiny opening, and they'll slide in there pretty easy, and then they get trapped in this back end. So they'll swim around in there until you come to fish them. And we usually fish every second day, unless the eels are good, we'll fish every day, but every second day. But if the eels get good there, we had a couple nets this year that we had about 2 weeks. We had 5 or 6 nets all in a row, and we were running 24 eels. And that's big eels. Eels got to be 22 inches. I just forget what they are. They got to be 22 inches in order to keep them here. So yeah, we were getting 24 eels out of each net. So that was really making our day. So that's the net, and that black webbing, that's what they call the funnel, or the wings. Sorry, the wings. And they just stick off to the side. They're 5-6 feet long, and they stick off to the side. But there's a leader, and it's not on the net. I don't have it tied on. This was a brand new net that we'd never used. The leader is my leader's 60-70 feet long, and it runs straight out. So the eels come swimming down along the shoreline, and they hit the leader, and they follow the leader along, and then they get to the front part of the net, and them wings are just to help them funnel them into the net, right? So they just come through the funnels into the net. This is called a fyke net. I don't know where they originate from, but they've been using them here for a long time. My friend Stan over in Stanley Bridge, he makes these nets, so there's not too many people that make them. There is quite a bit of work to them, and they are expensive. A net and a leader is close to 350 bucks, I believe. So yeah, they are pretty expensive per net. So 350 bucks times 35 nets, figure that out. Stan built me 24 new nets last year. I bought all the materials, and them hoops are aluminum hoops. The aluminum hoops alone for 24 nets, I think, was $1,500. So I got them made at a welding shop. So yeah, not cheap. You got to catch a few eels. Eels last year were, what were they, Bob? 265? 265. Yeah, 265 a pound. So it's pretty. Yeah, they were pretty good. They were pretty good money last year. And the year before they were 350 for a while. But the price has been pretty good the last few years, on the last 2 or 3 years. But for about 10 years, they were only about $1.25 a pound, $1.50. So I sell my eels to a company over in New Brunswick. They come over with a truck and pick them up. Anyway, that's my eel net. And this is the shop. I got to do all that rope. And there's Bob's work area. He's doing collectors, and we're just doing a little bit of everything. So I just thought I'd make a short little video today and what we're doing. And there's Bob and Willard, but try to catch him, Bob. Get him to do a few little spins. He's fast. He is fast. When you want to catch him, you can't. He'll run. Too much mess in the basement. He usually, if it's clean down here, he'll run circles, and you can't catch the little bastard. He can motor along pretty good. Anyway, they're pretty good buddies, Bob and Willard. So anyway, that's my video today. And like I said, there's my tripod over there. I bought that for my camera, so hopefully it works. It's supposed to. Anyway, we'll try to get this uploaded and make another video maybe tomorrow of something. So